And welcome everyone to American Family Insurance DreamBank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm so excited to have you with us today. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our always free offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now, I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Melissa Majors is a nationally recognized speaker, author, and leadership advisor with over 25 years of experience helping organizations embrace human-centered leadership. She has spoken on stages for companies blending powerful storytelling with practical insights. She also She's also the author of Help Them Thrive and 7 Simple Habits for Inclusive Leaders. Take it away.
Hello, dreamers. It's so good to be here with you, friends. Thank you so much for taking the time to join. Let's figure out how we show up and shine. But first, I want to tell you a story. And this story is about being one of 9 children. Yes, all 9 kids. I'm the youngest. And at the top were the sisters, and then all these boys, and then me. So if I was going to hang out, I was hanging out with the boys. And I got really close to one of my brothers. His name's Leon. And unfortunately, Leon passed away when he was only 44 years old. But Leon lived such a fulfilling life. He loved people. And if we went to the grocery store to get one item, 1 hour later, we would still be in the grocery store because he never met a stranger. Leon loved people and he loved sparking conversations with anybody who was willing, and he was incredible at it. Now, me, on the other hand, I was the kid that clung to my mother's leg. Like, talk about social anxiety. That was me. And so I was incredibly uncomfortable. Well, fast forward to his funeral, which was a total celebration of his life. There were all these people there that I didn't know who they were. And then after the service, I met so many people that said Leon made them feel seen, and he left an incredible impact and mark on their lives by making them feel so important and valued. And that was a transformative moment for me in my life. And I said, you know what? That's the type of legacy that I want to leave when I leave this earth. And so I've been intentional since then about learning how to really connect with people and show up and shine in those everyday moments. I call those everyday moments your onstage moment, because every day when we have an impact and we interact with someone else, all of those touch points and impacts, that builds our reputation. You see, our reputation is the sum of every impression that we make. So we need to make sure that we're shining in those onstage moments. And it's not just to connect and make friends, but being better connected and showing up in the right way is good for our overall well-being as well. But the truth is, friends, a lot of us are struggling. Our people skills are so rusty. Well, they are. And we can blame COVID and quarantining and all that. But a lot of it has to do with being behind a screen so much, because we have all these loose affiliations with people online, but we don't have these close, trusting relationships or anybody come to feed our cat when we go on vacation. And it's those warm and trusting relationships that really lead to our overall well being. There's a book that came out by Dr. Corey Keyes called Languishing, and he talks about the keys to flourishing in life. And as human beings, a third of our overall well being is associated with those good, trusting relationships. But because our peopling skills are so rusty, we are missing out on an important aspect of our overall well-being in life. So let's figure out how we can show up and shine, make even more friends, and feel great overall as we do that. And so let's imagine that we're all together. I know we're virtual, but let's just pretend we're all together in person. And we're going to go and network at this reception. I mean, check this out. It's beautiful. Lovely scenery. The people look friendly, but let's be honest about it. Now, put your fingers to the keyboard. I'm going to interact with you a lot here. So I want to know how you feel. How many of you would feel a little bit nervous about walking out on this patio and networking at this reception? How many? Who would be honest? Just put your fingers in chat. Who would be a little bit nervous? Very nervous. Okay, thank you for being so honest. Yeah, it's common. A lot of people, Janet says not nervous. Of course, she's a master mingler. We could learn a lot from Janet. Shatara, a little bit. Yes, so many of you said a little bit. That's normal. And you want to know why? I blame my mom for the reason why this happened. Well, actually, our brains are to blame, but we think stranger danger. Whenever we are about to meet new people, that little voice pops into your mind that says, stranger danger. Well, why does this happen? I jokingly blame my mom, but really it's our brains. You see, friends, let me give you just a quick neuroscience overview. Our brains haven't evolved that much since we were hanging out in the savannah. Like they really haven't. Our brains are still very much wired the way they were back when we were cave people. And so our brains were exquisitely tuned to the perceptions of threat. And that has not gone away. You see, our brain is constantly scanning the environment for five factors. Will it eat me? Can I eat it? Have I seen it before? Will it mate with me? Can I mate with it? Those are the things that our brain is constantly focusing on. Now, it also want to talk about, have I seen it before? Those are patterns. We remember patterns, especially patterns of particular threats. And so think about it. If we're wired for survival, we've got to be really in tune with anything that could potentially be a threat to our survival. And that mechanism is still very prominent in our brains. And so, what happens is if we recognize through our patterns that something, those are called our instincts, that something has never been a threat, we don't pay much attention to it. Like a table, for example. If we walked into that networking reception and we saw a table with a flat top and four legs, our brain would say, you don't have to spend any time assessing whether this is a threat or not. And so we don't have to spend any energy on it. But as it relates to all the people in that room, your brain will say, uh-oh, I don't know these people. I don't have any experience with them. We have to assess every person in here to decide whether they are a threat or not. And in a nanosecond, your brain will decide whether somebody is a friend or foe, just like that. And so it's so important that we show up in a way that conveys that we are friendly and we're not a foe. So we don't miss out on those incredible opportunities to build good relationships. Now, why does this happen? I want to talk about our emotions because those social anxiety and those pesky emotions can get in the way of us showing up in the way that we want to. I want to share a scenario with you. So let's say we're in that reception, and how many of you said that you would feel an anxiety? Probably about 50% of you, if I just do a little quick check here in chat. And some of you said that you would feel excitement. Here's the good news about our bodies. Anxiety and excitement show up in the exact same way in our bodies. Our blood pressure increases, our sugar increases, our heart rate increases. They show up in the exact same way. And if they have the same effect on our body, that means we get to choose the label of the emotion that we're feeling. So if you choose anxiety, you know what's going to happen when you walk into that room? You might grab your phone and look down, not make eye contact, and not really full up and shine. Whereas if you label excitement, you'll be interested in it because it's a positive emotion. So when you get to that door, choose to label your feelings excitement versus nervous, and you'll show up even better. And the next thing I want to do is an incredible trick I want to teach you to hack your brain to pull yourself down out of that feeling of anxiety. And it works like this. And so, everyone, do this with me. Take a deep breath through your nose. Now, force even more air into your lungs and let it out slowly. That's a brain hack, my friends. And what that does is anytime your lungs are totally full of air, it sends a signal to your brain that you're safe and you don't need to be nervous. And you can do this in a subtle way, and no one will even know that you're pulling yourself out of that nervous state. So you can be cool, calm, and collected as you walk into that networking reception. Now, here's a picture of it again. Now, I want you to use your finger to chat. Scan the room here, the environment. Which group of people would you feel most comfortable talking to? Because oftentimes when we walk into a room full of people we don't know, we feel like, Who wants to talk to me? Nobody's going to want to talk to me. Which group of people would you feel most comfortable talking to? Let's see your answers. Put them in chat. Is it number 1, number 2, or number 3? Okay, I'm seeing some mostly 2s, a couple of 3s coming in, mostly 2. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. The reason, and I'll explain why number 2 seems like a group that you'd feel more comfortable with. Why? Because they have welcoming body language. And when you're in a group of people, if you want to meet new friends, it's important that you convey body language that says, "Hi, I'm friendly, come and talk to me." The first couple that we saw, the angle of their feet were facing in. There was just 2 people talking to each other. And what that says, as you can see on this image on the screen, this says, this is a closed private conversation. Don't walk up and join us, or it might get awkward really quick. The next group of people were in a closed circle. Again, their feet were kind of angling in. There was no way for you to squeeze in. Their bodies and shoulders were kind of tight. This says this is also a closed conversation. You're not that welcome to join. Whereas this type of setup in your conversation with other people, you see their feet are kind of angling out, there's space for others to join. That's the type of group you want to walk up to. It says, "Hello, we're friendly. Feel free to come and join the conversation." So those are some tips and tricks on how to read body language and to make sure you are using the right framing in your body to welcome others into the conversation. Now, when you walk into a room of people, again, we're wired like sophisticated cave people. And so we're still looking for the same cues today that we were looking for then that says, "I'm a friend and not a foe." And the 3 things you can do to make sure you convey that you're friendly: make eye contact, smile with an open mouth if possible, and make sure that you show the palms of your hands. When we first started this webinar, what was the first thing I did? I waved at you so you could see the palm of my hands. And what that conveys is, I'm friendly. I'm friendly. You can trust me. Let's connect and talk. Because you can also see I don't have a weapon in my hands. And that is what we're looking for subconsciously, that will send the message that we're friendly. So pay attention to your body language and the body language of those that you're grouped up with. Next, I want to recommend that you follow this incredible expert. Her name is Vanessa Van Edwards. And ooh, she has some incredible tips on how to master the secret language of charismatic communication. There's a QR code. You can scan it to purchase and see her book called Cues. She has a lot of really good things. I gobble up everything she puts online because it just really helps me break out of the awkwardness that I used to be as a kid and shine with people in those on stage moments. And I want to watch with you a quick little video on how important it is for us to be interested in others, to be remembered by others. Let's watch it.
Is research has found that when we produce dopamine in conversation, it actually makes you more memorable. So this is research from Dr. John Medina. And what he found is that dopamine also does a lot of things in our body, but it's the chemical of motivation. It's the chemical of pleasure and excitement. And when you're asked about things that make you feel excited, you actually produce dopamine and you create what are called mental markers. Dr. Medina calls them mental post-it notes. That you're with someone and they ask you a dopamine worthy question, your brain goes, "Ooh, this person makes me feel good. I'm going to remember them." So when you produce dopamine in a conversation, people are more likely to remember your name. They're more likely to remember you. So how do we produce dopamine? You literally use dopamine triggers.
Such as?
So and if we can a challenge, do not ask, "What do you do?" anymore.
Totally
Amen.
agree. Yes.
When you ask someone, "What do you do?" you're asking their brain to stay asleep. You're basically saying, "I want you to stay on autopilot and answer the same question you've answered 1,000 times before." And also, "What do you do?" is really asking worth. Think that's a little- So
Yes.
if are we going to that someone defines themselves by that get them excited? So very, very simple swap, but it allows someone to say, "I'm working on anything exciting." With they can answer with personal passion projects, right? Forward to any out autopilot questions for dopamine producing questions.
Boom, there it is. And oh, I have a gift for you, friends. So I have developed and customized a list of incredible dopamine triggering questions you can use to start conversations and be memorable. So take out your phones or whatever your device is. If you scan the QR code on the screen, I'm also going to ask Aisha if you can put, there it is, so good. Put the link right there in chat. If you click on the link, I'll give you access. Not asking for anything. It's a free resource. It's my gift to you. But honey, when you use this when networking, you will be memorable and absolutely unforgettable. Because as Vanessa says, in order for you to seem interesting, you need to be interested. So many of us feel like we need to come with our elevator speech when we're meeting people, our branded elevator speech. That's not how people remember you. When you, like my brother Leon, choose curiosity and want to be interested in other people, they will remember you for life. That's how you can shine in those everyday on stage moments. So enjoy that and use it to make sure that you are networking and making friends in the right way. Next thing, I have another story for you. Now, these are my boys. Aren't they cute? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or emoji or something in chat. These are my sweet little boys, Luke and Terrence. Now, this was when they were about 5 or 6 years old. Thank you, Sophia and Angie and Erica. Thank you so much. So cute. They're tweens now. So they are still cute, but they've officially crossed over to that sneaky phase that I like to call when kids get to this age. But anyway, we'll talk about that in another conversation. When they're about 5 or 6 years old, they had just come home from school that day. And my older son, Terrence, wanted to use his roller skates. And so I got him all padded up because that's what modern moms do. My mom didn't pad us up. We got skinned up when we were on our roller skates, okay? Anybody else got skinned up when they were a kid? Anyway, so if you look at the driveway, we've got some pretty significant seams in our driveway. So if you hit that driveway with your roller skates, and hit that seam, baby, you are going down, okay? And so that's exactly what happened to Terrence on this day. As he hit that seam, he went down flat on his back and he knocked the wind out of him. Has anybody had the wind knocked out of you? If you haven't, you didn't play hard enough as a kid. So anyway, he's laying there and he's gasping for air. And my younger son, who was always laid back and cool and kind of nonchalant, he walks over and he looks down at his brother and he says, "Is he dead?" And I was like, "Luke, why would you say something like that? No, he's not dead. He's just hurt." And Luke, I'm worried about him, but Luke is my little philosopher. And what he was alluding to when he said this, he said, "Mommy, dead's not bad. It's just dead." And what he was alluding to is a Latin term called memento mori, which essentially means remembering our mortality as humans. And remember that one day we will pass away. And the point is, if you keep your mortality at the top of front of your mind, that you'll live every day in an even more fulfilled way. And as I talked earlier in our conversation, connecting with people and showing up in those everyday moments for people is more than just networking and building friends. We need it to live a fulfilled life. It's an important aspect of our well being. And there's something I want to teach you on how to connect with people that you already know even better. And if we were together, I'd give you a big one of these. And this is called a heart to heart hug. And typically, when we come in for the hug, we go to the left and we just do a quick little boop, and then that's it. I want to challenge you, especially for those that you really want to feel that you care about them and you love them. Go the other way and hug to this way, hug heart to heart, and take just a beat and a breath together. And if you can hold that hug for 6 seconds, what happens in your brain is oxytocin is released in your brain. And that's the feel-good chemical. And it's the chemical that bonds us to other people. And if you hug in the right way, my friends, for that 6 seconds, you're going to deepen your bond with others, deepen your relationship, and improve your well-being for yourself and for them as well. And again, if we were together, I would give every one of you a big heart-to-heart hug for joining this conversation, for investing into showing up even better, deepening your relationships, and living an even more fulfilled life as a result of it. And so with that, I want to thank you so much for joining this conversation today. If you have any questions, you can throw them in chat. I'll stay on for a few more minutes and answer those questions in chat. But if I can ever be a friend to you, if you want to talk about how to show up and shine even better, reach out to me at melissamajors.com. We can grab some time together and make sure that you are set up to shine. So thank you so much, and I'll turn it over to Madeline to close us out.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know I took a lot of notes. I'm definitely going to be more aware of my body language when I am in social settings. So I make sure that I am inviting new conversation. But thank you so much for coming and sharing these wonderful insights. And thank you everyone for tuning in and learning alongside of me. Until next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Jerica. Thanks, Angie. Bye, Dina. Thank you for joining.